Hi guys, welcome to the channel. I like to spend a little bit of money on my gear, but sometimes when you don't have to, it's nice to know that you could get something quality for a budget. And I found just that. I found the Comica Boomx-D. And these little guys, I got this is the kit that has the 2 transmitters and 1 receiver. And I was really pleased that it came with all the things that you're ever going to need to run this equipment. It even comes with lapel mics. So here's what you get. You get this nice little carrying case. Let me unzip that for you. So everything fits in there. There's a little slot here to put all the cables and the microphones. And in here you don't have to leave this little foam fitted thing in here, but you know what? I think they snap in there just nice and they don't bounce around, so that's kind of good. So what you get is 2 transmitters that operate just fine all by themselves. You don't even have to use the lapel mics that they provide. There's a microphone on each one, and you can just clip this to your short and you're fine. But I find putting the transmitters on your pocket or your belt and using the lapel mic kind of makes this a little bit of that would make it a smaller form factor on your shirt or wherever you're going to put the mic, and then this is out of sight. And the transmitter has a similar little belt clip, but this little belt clip slips into a cold shoe or a hot shoe really great, and we'll get into that in a moment. And the other things you're going to get in here is if you were using the transmitters without the lapel, you even get a little windscreen that snaps onto the microphone, and that fits on there really snug. It doesn't come off. It's pretty good. So you can do it that way if that was what you're going to do. I think with a little finagling, you could push the lapel mic into. Yeah, you could do that, and then you'd have a windscreen on there like that. I haven't done that yet, but yeah, fits right in there. So that's actually pretty good. I just discovered that. All right, what else you get in here is the cables that you could use to hook it to whatever it is that you're recording to, and they give you even this one for a cell phone. So this one, if you have the dongle that you need for an iPhone, then you'd have to plug that in first, and then this end goes to your smartphone, and this end comes out of the transmitter. So there's a line out on there. That's the other thing is I'll get into all of the connections on here in a second. The other cable is they've got one for Canon, Nikon, and etc. I guess these ones have some issues with the level coming out of the transmitters, and so they've got a cable that is proper for that, as well as Sony, Panasonic, and Fujifilm. And I think I've been using this one in my Sony. Another thing that they supplied that I thought was really good was this charging cable. One USB to your charger, and the other end is the 3 cables USB-C to charge each unit, all in one cable. So that's better than having 3 cables, in my opinion. That's pretty good. So each transmitter has the power to turn it on, and it also has, after it's turned on, you could quickly mute that just by tapping that really fast, and you've got a mute. So this also automatically pairs, but if it doesn't pair for some reason, you can push the pair button. On the other side, this is where you could reset everything with the tiny pin. Here's also the charging port right up there, and on top you have the mic jack, and we'll get into what that little hole there is. That has to do with the lapel mic. And on the receiver, you'll have a headphone jack, and you have your out to go to the camera or recorder. And the headphone jack doesn't have a volume, but I've noticed that when I put the headphones on, it wasn't too loud and it wasn't too quiet. I could hear it just fine. So that's pretty cool. And on the side you have the charging port, and then over here you have the power and another reset there with a little pin. But you got your power, and you have a button here to alter the output of each A and B. So when you turn one on, it becomes A. You turn the other one on, it becomes that one would be B. You turn this one on too, and on the receiver you can, on the receiver you can make one louder all the way in increments all the way up to 12. Okay, let's look at that. So I'm going to go on one of them. I'm going to raise it up so there's in increments of 1 each, all the way up to plus 12. Then it goes back to 0 dB. So if somebody's talking quiet and the other one is talking more loud, you can balance that out right here from the receiver at the camera level. So that is really nice. Yeah, and the light of it is pretty good, and then it goes into a self-dim. So after a few moments, it'll dim down. You could still see it, but you could highlight see how it got dim. You could make it so you could see that again by tapping a button to light it up again. See, and I tapped to change the dB, but all it did was just light up the lights again. It didn't change the dB, so that's really nice. So these are actually quite nice microphones. The cables are really thick, and I don't feel like these are going to be broken anytime soon. The metal clips that they give you are very, very nice. They have it to where when you clip it to your shirt, it's extended away, so it possibly won't touch your clothing, which is nice. And they give you a little pop filter on there that you could remove. Now the other thing about the end is they give this little plastic piece here. Now what that is for is you can plug this into the mic jack that's on the transmitter, and then it'll snap. When you line that up, it'll snap that in and it'll click, and this will not come out very easily. You have to pull that in at the same time you're pulling out. So that makes it so that when that is in there, it is unlikely that the wearer is going to inadvertently pull the mic jack out and you won't be recording a good audio. So that is nice that they added that in there. That's pretty clever. Now the mics themselves, they sound pretty good. Now if you've watched my channel, you know that I EQ everything from these things. So what I found when I use these is I find that the lapel mic is a little mid-range high. So when I edit, I can do all kinds of things, but what I first do is take that mid and I drop it down, and it sounds very natural just by dropping the mid and the mid-high down just a couple dB, and then it's perfect. And then if you want to, of course, and I always do, I go in there with a little bit of compressor and noise reduction and limiters and everything, and I kind of soup it up a bit. But these provide all of the frequencies that you need to do that. Now, it's not a very small microphone. Making movies and stuff, it'd be pretty difficult to hide this big bad boy, but you can. You get the right little attachments into. You can hide these pretty good in a hat and everything. Not with what you see here. You take all this off and you could minimize that some. But just for, if you're doing a cooking show like I've been doing, this works out really good because Jesus and me are in the kitchen moving around back and forth, and no matter if we're looking at the camera or we turned around and we're still speaking, you can hear us. Having a boom mic to try to catch all that, as soon as we turn away, the audio is going to be different than when you're facing it, but not when you've got lapel mics on it. And you already know that. That's why you're looking at this channel, to figure out if you want something that's wireless and lapel. And I say lapel could be a really good choice for you. And these, price-wise, I believe I paid about $160. So you get all of this for $160, $170, under $200 for sure. It was a while ago that I bought it, and I was comparing what you can get compared to like the Rode Wireless Go 2, and those ones can record, and I like that. That's a nice feature, and I've used pocket recorders ever since the beginning of my channel, and that's really nice because that's wireless, quote unquote, and you don't have to worry about like frequency issues and all that kind of stuff. You just have to sync it up and post it, which is pretty easy. A lot of the software these days can do that automatically, so it's not really an issue. But what was kind of cool is that you take, let's say you got 3 people and I only have got two of these that would transmit. Well, I got my pocket recorder. I could just put that on the third person, and we do our little clap it in, and I can line up that third guy with these two, and now we're 3 wireless. So that's really fun. So you could do that. So I know that everybody likes to do the distance test and stuff like that, and it's like, honestly, you'll see almost every video they go out and I'll do the same for you, but I'm not going to go crazy. My yard is, I don't know, 60 feet in its length, and we'll go out there and we'll do that. Also, I've got another scenario that I think that would be really good, and let's talk about that for a second. Hold on. All right, so this is sold separately. I got this on Amazon. Here's what it's called. And so what this is, it's a mic extender, and for something like this. So I'm going to put one of the transmitters on here and slide that into its little cold shoe. And let's say we were outside and we wanted to do an interview. So I'm going to put the little wind muff on there, and we could do that. And then I'll wear this one, maybe with a lapel, or I'll just put it on my shirt. We'll do something like that. And now I am laved up, so there's no reason for me to hold the mic here. But if I've got an interviewer or an interviewee, I can just do like that. Let's look at how that might work out. So here on the ranch, we just have one question. What do you call a cow with no legs?
Ground beef, bro.
All right, so now let's hook this up to the camera. I'll show you how easy this will be. So we got the overhead looking okay. All right, let me get my glasses on for this one. All right, so here's the receiver, and we're going to open up the camera and find the one that says Sony, because I'm using a Sony. Here we go. All right, so I'm going to put the output side, and the one that doesn't say anything is just the black end of the cable. We're going to hook that up, and I'm going to slide this into what I've got going on, a little cold shoe on the side over here. So that's locked into that spot, and I like that because I can see it very well from my side. And now this end is going to go into the mic port over here, and yep, now that I've got a mic on here, it's going, I have it set to mono, and I can see in the VU meter here showing 2 channels at the same time going on here. Now what's kind of interesting too is, I'm going to show you something else that's kind of included in this that's not spoken about very much. I didn't have my finger on the button. All right, so now there is only one transmitter on, which is this one here, and I'm going to put this on me real quick, right up here. So I'm the one speaking. Now if you look at the VU meter here, I don't know if this is going to show that very well. Let's see here. Exposure. Maybe I'll drop that down just a little bit. Okay, let's see if that's working. Okay, so if you notice, it was mono. It's set to mono. So why would my VU meters be leveling up at different levels? And what I kind of found out from another channel is that Comica has made it so that there's one level, or one side, the left side, is less dB than the right side, even though it's mono, but it's kind of going a little bit less to one side than the other. So in a way, when you export your audio, like separate your video and audio track, you actually have one safety track. So that's really clever. That's something that wasn't talked about when you purchase one of these things, but yet there it is. So that's really clever that you could do that. So if you switch it to stereo on the transmitter, then what's going to happen on that one is that you get your 100% left channel and you get a 100% right channel, and they're going to be when you can separate those in the software that you're editing with, and you've got control of the volume of that one and the other one. And you could also, maybe you don't want 100% left and right. You could merge those a little bit by panning those around a little bit, but you've got an independent channel from your from one of your actors, and you've got an independent channel from the other one, so you got control of both of them. And if you don't want to do that, then you can just put both of them to mono. They just go into one mix, and it's on both channels the same amount. But you can go stereo. That's really cool that you get all of those features for the price that these are. Okay, all right, so I've got the lapel mic on now, and this is a test for some amount of distance. My yard is not really big, but I'm guessing it's about 50 feet to the back corner of the yard there. So I'm right now about 4 feet from the lens, and I'm gonna walk backwards and try not to trip on this branch that's been cut off our tree here. All right, so my back is to it. They say the clip is here, and I have a lapel mic right here, and sometimes they say as your body is between, it cuts off at some distances, but I've heard that these ones work really well, so we'll see in this test to see if as I turn around, if we get any cutout or anything. All right, so here's probably what, 30 feet, and I'm gonna cross this little bridge here, backing up. And I am talking just a normal speaking level and keeping my face toward the camera. And now I've made it as far back as I can go. This is it right here. Now I'm gonna go ahead and turn around for a minute and keep on talking to see if the pack has lost connection with that there. So now I'm on my way back, and you can probably hear the gravel under my shoes, and other than that, the signal should be nice and strong. And coming back to the main part here, and that's that test. All right. And quality wise, these are made out of pretty much a very solid plastic, very nice, and I think that these would hold up for a very long time. And battery life on these, I'm told that it, like continuously, transmitting audio, is about 4.5 hours. The manual says about 5. And honestly, I'll never be running my audio that long for any kind of shoot that I'm doing. And probably an hour and a half, and these also don't take very long at all, about an hour to charge them back up again. So if you do need to run that long, you could make it work. So on the ranch, we also want to know, what do you call a cow with 2 legs?
Oh, lean beef, bro.
But much longer than 5 hours. So I think the time that you get on these is good enough for me. I heard the road can go a little bit more, like 6 hours, but honestly, 5 hours before you need to consider recharging these. Not only that, but there's that USB on there, so if you've got a little power bank that you can put in your pocket, you can keep this charged, and you can put one on your camera rig to keep that charged, and then there you go. You can go for as long as you got batteries on all that. So here on the ranch we have another question. What do you call a cow that's having a seizure?
Beef jerky, bro.
Okay. All right, guys, so that's my recommendations on the Comica Boomx-D, and I think that it's worth it. It's not very expensive, and you get a lot of bang for your buck, and they sound great, and I'm glad that I purchased it. All right, well, that's all we got for today. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.